You cut yourself this morning, maybe shaving, maybe opening a package, maybe just existing near a sharp corner. You probably did not think much about it. You cleaned it, put something on it, maybe a bandage, maybe just ignored it and hoped for the best, because somewhere in the back of your mind you knew it would probably be fine. Now take that confidence away. No antiseptic, no bandages, no hospital, no antibiotics, no painkillers from a bottle, no doctor on call, no emergency room with fluorescent lights and someone asking for your insurance card. Just you, a wound, the wilderness, and a small group of people who had seen this before, many times. So, how did ancient humans deal with injuries? The obvious answer is badly. People died from things we consider minor today. A tooth infection, a small cut, a broken leg, and yes, that happened. Ancient injuries could be deadly in ways modern people rarely experience. But the obvious answer is also incomplete, because ancient humans were not helpless. They were not standing around bleeding and confused, hoping something worked. They were paying attention for hundreds of thousands of years, and some of what they figured out is more surprising than you might expect. Let's start with the most basic problem: bleeding. If you cut yourself badly enough, you bleed to death. That is not a modern discovery. Ancient humans knew this. The question is what they did about it. Pressure helps. That does not require a medical degree. It requires fingers, or a hand, or something pressed hard against a wound. That knowledge is old, very old. But beyond pressure, plants matter. Many plants contain compounds that can help blood clot, reduce infection, or ease pain. Humans living close to plants for generations had opportunities to notice which ones did something useful. Which leaf changed a wound, which root reduced swelling, which bark made the pain quieter. Some of that knowledge may go back further than we can easily measure, and it was not guesswork. It was observation, repeated, careful, survival-level observation, because bad observation got you killed. Good observation got remembered. Then there were broken bones, because ancient humans were not sitting in offices. They were climbing, running, carrying heavy things, falling, fighting, being stepped on by things much larger than them. Broken bones happened. And here is something remarkable. When archaeologists find ancient skeletons, they sometimes find healed fractures, not treated by modern medicine, healed on their own, because a broken bone can heal if given time, support, and stillness. And stillness requires something important. It requires other people. If you break your leg alone in the wilderness, you are in serious trouble. You cannot hunt. You cannot gather. You cannot easily move. You depend entirely on the people around you, which means healed fractures in ancient skeletons are not just medical evidence. They are social evidence. Someone stayed. Someone helped. Someone brought food while the bones slowly knit back together. The injury survived because the group did not leave. And then there is the most extraordinary evidence. Not just bones that healed, but bones that were deliberately treated. In 2022, researchers announced a discovery from Liang Tebo Cave in Borneo, a skeleton around 31,000 years old, and the left lower leg was missing. Not because it fell off, not because of an animal. The bones showed a clean, deliberate cut, a surgical amputation, and the person survived. The bone had healed completely, which means someone cut off a human leg tens of thousands of years ago in a cave, without anesthesia, without sterile tools, without antibiotics, and the patient lived long enough for the bone to fully heal. Researchers called it the oldest known surgical amputation in the world. Let that settle for a moment. Surgery, 31,000 years ago, not because they had a hospital, because they had someone willing to try. Now meet Shanidar 1. He is a Neanderthal, found in Shanidar Cave in Iraq. He lived somewhere between 45,000 and 35,000 years ago. When researchers studied his bones, they found something remarkable. He had a withered right arm, probably from an injury or condition early in life. A healed leg fracture, possible vision damage, evidence of multiple other healed injuries. He was not a small, minor injury case. He was extensively damaged, and yet he survived. possibly for decades after these injuries. That means someone fed him, someone helped him, someone decided he was worth keeping alive even when he could not fully contribute to the group. Shanidar I is one of the most important ancient humans ever found, not because of what he built, not because of what he hunted, but because of what his bones suggest about the people around him. Care, ancient care. Before writing, before cities, before medicine had a name. But care alone could not fix pain, and pain was a constant companion in ancient life. Willow bark contains salicin. Your body converts salicin into something very similar to aspirin. Humans may have been chewing willow bark for pain long before anyone understood the chemistry, because the effect was real, and real effects get remembered. Then there is Ötzi. Ötzi the Iceman lived around 5,300 years ago. He was found frozen in the Alps in 1991. His body is a time capsule. Healed fractures, arthritis, a parasitic infection, medicinal plants carried on his body, and 61 tattoos. Not decorative ones, small marks, lines, crosses, located near joints, near areas of degeneration, near places of chronic pain. Some researchers believe these marks may have been related to pain treatment, a form of therapeutic practice. Pressure, heat, something we still do not fully understand. Was it ancient acupuncture? Was it something else entirely? We cannot say for certain, but if you wanted to map the spots that hurt most on Ötzi, you might end up with something that looks exactly like his tattoos. Now let's be honest about what ancient humans did not have, because the picture is not all surprising and wonderful. Infection was the great equalizer. A wound could be cleaned, bound, treated with plants, and still become infected. Without antibiotics, a serious infection could be a death sentence. A cut in the wrong place, a wound that would not close, a bone that healed wrong. Any of these could end a life that modern medicine would save in an afternoon, and many did. Ancient life expectancy was not low because people were incompetent. It was low in part because some problems had no solution yet, not because of a lack of trying, but because knowledge takes time, and biology does not wait. And then there is the part nobody thinks about, the mental side of ancient injury. Today, if you break your leg, you know it will probably heal. You know there is treatment. You can look it up. You have context. An ancient human had no context for an injury they had never seen before. A deep wound, a bone through skin, a head injury that changed behavior, a bite that kept spreading heat and swelling. No explanation, no guarantee, no promise that the pain had an end. Just the injury, the pain, the group, and whatever they had learned so far. That uncertainty was its own kind of suffering, and it makes the people who kept trying anyway quietly extraordinary. So, how did ancient humans deal with injuries? Not perfectly, not safely, not reliably, but not helplessly either. They pressed wounds closed. They used plants. They splinted limbs. They rested when they had to. They helped each other survive things that should have been fatal. They tried strange things when nothing else worked. And sometimes, 31,000 years ago in a cave in Borneo, they cut off a leg, and the person lived. Modern medicine is extraordinary. Emergency rooms save lives every day that ancient humans could not have saved. Antibiotics alone changed the survival odds of every person on Earth. We did not just learn medicine, we built it, carefully, painfully, over thousands of years of trying. But your ancient ancestors were already trying. With plant knowledge, pressure, splints, observation, and the decision to stay beside the injured person instead of leaving them behind. The modern hospital did not appear from nothing. It appeared at the end of a very long line of people who refused to give up on the person bleeding in front of them.
And somewhere near the beginning of that line is Shanidar I, propped up near a fire, unable to fully use his right arm, surrounded by people who kept him alive anyway. The medicine was not perfect, but the instinct was the same. Help, stay, try. That instinct is older than surgery, older than medicine, older than language itself. It is just human.